Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. As part of the AI tool series, we are in episode of 3. Today we are going to discuss about GitHub Copilot. I have a quick question for you. How many times have you done this? You are coding, you know exactly what you want to build, but suddenly your brain says, wait, what's the syntax again? So you open Google and then you are searching in Stack Overflow and you will research any blog related to that. And you will also search in YouTube related to that. Any video is there, you will search more. Before realizing it, you have already opened 10 browser tabs and you have completely forgotten what you were building in the first place. Has this ever happened to you? I think every developer has been there. Well, today's AI tool is designed exactly for moments like this. Meet GitHub Copilot, your AI programmer, AI paid programmer, and as always, instead of learning about it theoretically, let's see our friend Rahul how he uses it. In the scenario one, now Rahul has a task is to build the login API for his Flask application. No, Rahul knows understanding like how the flow of API authentication will works. User logs in, validate the credentials, generates token, return response. Simple, right? But then suddenly he stops. He thinks, wait, what was the JWT syntax again? Now let me ask you something. What would you do if you were in place of Rahul? Would you Google it, search in Stack Overflow, or open any old project and copy the code? Rahul usually does the option C, but this time he has GitHub Copilot enabled in VS Code. He simply prompts like this: create a login API using JWT authentication. And within seconds, Copilot starts suggesting him the route definitions, token generation, in error handling, and authentication flow. Now, Rahul, in his mind, I didn't even leave my editor. Without leaving my editor, it's all completed. Now, in the next scenario, Rahul has another task to build a React component for such. He has the requirements so such with the input. The search button should have to be a button and it will call the API call and the loading state. Now, let me ask you another question. How long would it take you to write this from scratch? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 20? Now Rahul start typing in his GitHub Copilot. Create a such component with the API integration. Immediately Copilot start him suggesting that to state variables, event handlers, API calls, and loading indicators. Now Rahul thinks, okay, this feels some like someone is reading my mind. Now, did Copilot build the entire feature perfectly? No, that's not true. Rahul still has to review his code. He still has to before he has to check the code before uh, going into the production, and he made some changes within that code, and but it saved us a lot of time by completing the major part of the code. That's the major huge difference. Okay. Now Rahul has another task to write the SQL queries. Later in the afternoon, Rahul needs to write a PostgreSQL query. Now he had a requirement to find the top 5 assets with the highest maintenance cost. He knows the logic, but he can't remember the exact SQL syntax. Again, let me ask you, How many of you remember every SQL query perfectly? Exactly, most of us don't. Rahul writes a simple comment: get top 5 assets by maintenance cost. And Copilot immediately suggests him a query. Now Rahul reviews it, makes some changes, and that's it, done. A task that could have been taken 15 minutes, but now it is completing within a 2 minutes of time. Now let's come to the another scenario. Now Rahul has to understand is as a project that is already existed from many years. Later in the evening, Rahul opens an old project. He sees a piece of code and honestly, he has absolutely no idea what it does. Now let's be honest. Have you ever looked at code you wrote 6 months ago and thought, who wrote this? Exactly. Rahul highlights the code and asks the copilot, explain this code and explain this code of snippet code. And within seconds, Copilot explains him what the code does, why it's written that way, what were the possible improvements needs to be done for this existed project or code. Now Rahul thinks this feels like having a super senior developer sitting next behind to him. At the end of the day, Rahul thinks about everything that happened with the Copilot that's benefited him. It helped him to write the code faster, remembering syntax, building the features very quickly, and also understanding the existed code. Stay focused without switching more tabs. And suddenly something clicks in his mind. ChatGPT helps him to learn. Perplexity helps him to research the resources. Whereas a GitHub Copilot helps him to build the applications. Different tools have the different strengths. He found that. So, what exactly is a GitHub Copilot? Think about it like this. Imagine an experienced developer sitting behind you. You start typing. They look at your code and say, I think you are typing to build this. And then they will give you some suggestions. That's basically GitHub Copilot. It's an AI assistant that lives inside your code editor and helps you to write the code faster. But here is the most important part. It doesn't replace developers. You still need to understand the code, review the code, debug the issues, and make the decisions. But Copilot simply removes a lot of repetitive work. Here is the secret. GitHub Copilot's biggest superpower is not writing the code. It helps you stay in the flow because every time you leave your editor to search for syntax, your correction breaks, your context switches, and your productivity drops. Copilot reduces those interruptions and lets you keep building. Now, I want to hear from you. If you had an AI pair programmer, what would you use it for the most of the time? Writing APIs or building any React component, SQL queries, learning any new framework, or understanding the existed code? Let me know in the comments. And that's a wrap for the today's video. I hope Rahul's story help you understand what GitHub Copilot is and how it can make software development faster and easier. In our next episode, we are going to explore another amazing AI tool that solves a completely different problem. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with another developer, those who are interested in learning new things, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep learning, keep building, and keep explore. See you in the next video.